Lions fans get to host their third playoff game in 30 years this upcoming Sunday after they defeated the Los Angeles Rams and their former quarterback, Matt Stafford. Part of me is joking a little bit. I just thought that it was funny. It was absolutely awesome to see the game. Honestly, the only really good game of the entire wildcard weekend. But see Ford Field, see the people of Detroit. Definitely rooting for you guys, especially as a Falcons fan here. You guys are definitely the team. We'd love to see a Lions-Bills matchup then. And I feel like everybody wins in that situation because not too many people have really experienced that in their lifetime. So Ryan and I, we're going to break down this game here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Before we do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we have a lot of material coming out, including 3-round and 7-round mock drafts for both the Buccaneers and the Lions. So be sure to subscribe so you can see when those videos come out. Ryan, let's get into this game here. The Lions team, it's just going to be, it's kind of almost storybook. And man, I was then on Twitter last night, or formerly known as Twitter, now X, watching just these old Dan Campbell speeches. And I do remember when he got hired as a head coach in 2021, and then they go, 3-13, I think. They were just still the joke of the league, and people are still making fun of him. Like, look at this coach. He's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard not to root for that guy. And just root for this team. I don't know what just this aura of the team, the city. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch them be successful, but also I think part of it too, they're just a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean they play hard. Ben Johnson has done a fantastic job with this offense, and Dan Campbell has done a fantastic job, I think, with his defense. And all in all, like they just play really solid football. And the thing that I love about it is like, while they run like that kind of Shanahan like spread style system, they run the ball and they play physical on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Jack Campbell, not a small linebacker. He comes downhill with force. Aiden Hutchinson has really kind of in his second year evolved into one of the best edge rushers in the league. And I just love this brand of football. To me, it's, like, I don't want to say like they're like the land of misfit toys, but like Jared Goff was traded from LA to here. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown was kind of the 4th round pick, wide receiver.
Pro Bowl snub this year.
Yeah, and Pro Bowl snub this year. And like they're just like they've done such a good.
Also.
Yeah, David Montgomery, not signed from Chicago.
Throwing Dan Campbell also on that.
Yeah, honestly, it's but then they've just assembled this group of players that just they play so well together, and they're really one of the best teams in football right now. And I hate to bring up this Cowboys game at this point, but they should have been locked in for 2 home games this offseason. And
it's funny. I think Lions fans might actually want to thank Brad Allen and that refereeing crew because
that's very true.
I would say that would have been as tough as that Rams game was, that would have been a much tougher game, I feel, against that Packers team, which came into Detroit on Thanksgiving. Of course, a Lions team where it's not playing nearly as well game or around that time of the season. But still, the Rams team definitely had a huge vulnerability overall on the defense. And they were able to exploit that, especially in the first half. Luckily, they did in the first half. They kind of stopped a little bit in the second half. That Packers team, though, with the way that offense has been moving and the defense has been playing well, I don't know if it would have been the outcome the Lions would have gotten. And I will say, now kind of moving on to this game, I think that's one of the things. I think they're going to have a similar type match. I think the Buccaneers defense is a little bit better overall than the Rams, but still the secondary is not really that great. They played earlier on in the season. It was about, I think, week 6 when
it was week 7.
No, it was week 6. I have it here. They did beat them in Tampa Bay. It was 20-6. Actually, even David Montgomery got hurt during that game. I think Jahmyr Gibbs was also out in that game as well. So they had Craig Reynolds, their running back there. But still, I think one of the things going back to this game, the Buccaneers team definitely improved, but I think the Lions team has also improved as well. The Lions overall are just better in the trenches, I think, on both sides of the ball. Sure. Maybe the Bucs offensive line has improved, but I will say I think Aiden Hutchinson, who I looked up, has 11.5 sacks on the season. I think he's going to terrorize Luke Gadecki on who's that right tackle. Tristan Wirfs is going to be Tristan Wirfs. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. So a lot of blitzes, I feel like, are going to be coming on the right side of the offensive line. And so, but I think that their secondary and the middle of the defense is a little bit better than what the Bucs played tonight. A lot better than what the Bucs played tonight against the Eagles. And I think offensively, I think the Lions are going to be able to exploit the weaknesses of this Tampa Bay secondary. And on top of that, I think, as you mentioned, with how well they're running the ball, I think they're just going to be super balanced. And the atmosphere, I think the atmosphere is just going to be absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think it's going to be absurd.
Especially after, so now they've won they won last week at home in a playoff environment, and I think now there's going to be even more hype around this team. And so, kind of to flip over to the Buccaneers, last time these two teams played, this offense was not nearly playing at the level that it was, and I do expect them to be able to move the ball much better. I also think Todd Bowles had this defense clicking against Philadelphia. We're recording this right after the end of that game, and they dialed up a good bit of pressure to put on Jalen Hurts. And honestly, you look at Jared Goff's struggles this year, and a lot of it has come against pressure. So I do think that Tampa they're going to kind of play balls to the wall here and really get after Jared Goff and this offense to see if they can try to slow it down. I will say, as of late, I think Jared Goff has been better against pressure, but we'll just have to see kind of matchup wise. They definitely went after Jalen Hurts a good bit and definitely did a few cover zero scenarios there. So
yeah. I think one of the things that's helped it, I think Ben Johnson and Jared Goff they've come up with an offensive system to help mitigate that a little bit. Is when they recognize those blitzes, that I think they'll check down to a quick play that'll get the ball out of Jared Goff's hand quickly. Whether it be a quick screen pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown or a quick slant to Josh Reynolds, who had an amazing game, or James Williams come on strong a lot, and he's one of the quickest guys in the league. And so I'm glad to see him getting healthier, and because I think he really helps round out that offense.
Yeah.
And then you have Sam Laporta obviously having one of the best actually I think the best rookie tight end season anyone has ever had. So it is possible. I can see ways that the Buccaneers can win this game, but they're going to be going up against a different animal than this Philadelphia Eagles team, which honestly, I know the record had them going into the playoffs, but they were not a playoff team the way that they finished the season. So I think this is going to be a much tougher test for the Buccaneers. I think Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, I think they're going to have another game. I think guys like Chris Godwin, K. Dotton, I think they're also going to step up. I think one of the things as well, too, that has been interesting is in the second half of the season, the Bucs have been let me make sure I'm looking at the right screen here. They have been rushing the ball a little bit better, I will say, compared to the first half of the season. They have 4 games with over 100 plus yards. 100 plus rushing yards, which is something that they weren't able to do nearly as consistently as much. They did it against the Saints in the fourth week where they blew them out, and then against the Bears in the second week in the first half of the season. But that was against the Bears team that was giving up yards to guys like us. So in the second half of the season, they had 100 plus rushing yards against the Indianapolis Colts, who had a good defense, a good rushing defense. I was like front seven. Panthers defense as well. Falcons team also had one of the better rushing defense in the league, and they wrapped up with another 100-yard rushing performance against the Panthers to wrap out the season. So I need to go back and even double check how many rushing yards they had tonight specifically. That being said, I don't think it was as much. Yeah, Rachaad White had 72 yards, and then they had 119. So
not bad, but that's still, I think, below league average for rushing yards per game.
That's still
granted. They threw the ball all over the yard on them.
They're going to have to rush for over 100 yards against this Lions team. I think to help balance out, and they're also going to have Baker Mayfield have another 337-yard performance as well too. K. Dotton had 8 catches, 89 receiving yards. David Moore also stepped up as well. Trey Palmer, both those guys had touchdowns. So I think that's one thing that's going to be unique for this game. Those guys are going to have to step up again and have another type performance, just so then Lions defense can't just hone in on Mike Evans. So it's going to be a great game. Let's get into our predictions here. But before we do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan, who do you have winning this game and why?
I'm going to go with the home team, the Detroit Lions. I think this atmosphere is going to be just absolutely insane. I also think after that close win against the Rams, where they did shut down 2 of the best receivers not shut down, obviously, but they did hold in check Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp within reason. I think Cooper Kupp had the best playoff game by a rookie wide receiver ever, but they didn't allow it when it like really counted there at the end of the game. And to me, I think they're going to kind of be riding high on that. CJ Gardner-Johnson's back. Brian Branch is playing well. And Aiden Hutchinson was making some impactful plays as well. And then I think on the offensive side of the ball, they came out just on fire. On that first drive, they looked fantastic. David Montgomery was getting 2-3 yards before even getting contact. And granted, I do think this Tampa Bay defense is better than the Rams in terms of just like overall well-roundedness, and that front seven is still really good as well. But then I think you look at the secondary, and the Rams have actually been about an average passing defense this year, and I don't think Tampa quite has the horses to keep up with the wide receiving group, and I'm including Sam Laporta in that, with the wide receiving group of the Lions here. And so I do think it'll be a closer matchup. Yeah, pass catchers, sure. I do think it'll be a lot closer than the first matchup where it was 20-6. I'm going to go with a 1 touchdown game. I'm going to say 27-20. And I think the Bucs will probably attempt an onside kick in this one to maybe get the ball back after a late touchdown.
Okay. Especially in the second half of the season, this Bucs team, they have been, I would say, a pretty good road team overall, all things considered. They did lose to the 49ers week 11, but it was 27-14. I would say that's a pretty good performance in San Francisco against the Niners team. Did barely lose to the Colts, 27-20 in week 12, week after that. But then they went into Atlanta, pulled out a victory to help keep their playoff hopes alive and eliminate the Falcons, or start the elimination process for the Atlanta Falcons. And then Baker Mayfield had one of the best games statistically by a quarterback ever at Lambeau Field, when it threw a perfect game against the Packers and just dominated that team 34-20. And then I would say that their Week 18 game against the Panthers on the road they did the job. They won the game 9-0. Probably not their best game, but still they walked away with a victory, which is all they were looking for. So I bring those up because it's not because Ford Field's going to be a wild atmosphere again in this divisional round matchup. So I think this is going to be a veteran team. I think Baker Mayfield, I think he is a kind of excited leader that the Buccaneers are going to go and follow. I think they'll have them in check. And there's not going to be too many communication issues as loud as that place is going to be. All that being said, I kind of agree with your points. I think the Lions are just a better team. I feel like the storybook kind of year so far for the Lions. And I just don't think that the Buccaneers are well-rounded enough to just hang with them. It's going to be a great game. I think the reason why the Rams were able to hang with them was just how explosive that offense is, and the rise of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp as well. Not Cooper Kupp, but rise of Pooker. I think it's got a new nickname for them. But Puka Nacua rising and partnering with Cooper Kupp, I think just that offense exploded. I just don't know if we're going to be able to see that kind of explosion from this Buccaneers offense. They're a little bit different, not nearly as quick. And so it's going to have to be just another perfect game, I feel, for Baker Mayfield and connect with Mike Evans for 150-plus yards to have a similar type performance. So I'm going to go with the Lions, and I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up here, though. We're both taking the Lions. Again, if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel. It doesn't cost you guys a penny. So do that. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Will it be the Detroit Lions? And on that, we will see you guys next time.